What is up, guys? Things have now changed. Kenpachi Zaraki is finally here. If you guys have been following me for the last few videos on the chapters of Bleach, you guys know how Zaraki Kenpachi is my favorite character. He's finally here. He's here to destroy. I love this chapter. Let's just get into it. Here is a review of Bleach 573. Let's get started. Okay, so first off, what can I say? I mean, this chapter was very quick. It was very quick, very straightforward. I was astounded at how fast it went by for 20 pages. I started it and it seemed like 5 pages literally. But it's just because of how Bleach spaces the dialogue and has a lot of images. More importantly though, Bleach has now moved up to one of my all-time favorite manga. Before it was Toriko, but that was when, Toriko was doing some crazy stuff in its chapters. Now, in the latest chapters, Bleach has moved up, and that's still an honor because, I mean, I can guarantee you there's certain manga right now that I don't think will ever really move up to that. Fairy Tail is one of them. You guys know that I dropped Fairy Tail, but I still do occasional reviews on it. I don't think it will ever move up to that level. However, Bleach, this chapter was very simple. Zaraki Kenpachi arrived. He pretty much tells everyone that he killed Yunohona, and I was kind of surprised that he said, "I hated her anyways." Maybe he did, but yeah, I think what happened was just as stated. He subconsciously repressed himself, and eventually he ended up he had to kill this girl to finally progress on because he couldn't find anyone stronger than him. And it always sort of confused me because he did meet Ichigo, which was the first person ever to beat him in a while, in his lifetime really, and then he lost again to a few other people. And of all this, it seems like he never progressed. He never got stronger. In fact, according to my interpretation, he's been the same strength since he was a child and he met Unohona, because he realized, at least unconsciously, that he couldn't find anyone stronger than him, even Unohona, Kenpachi Unohona. So he subconsciously limited himself and eventually started regressing, where he started giving himself handicaps in order to make the fight stronger. Or make the fight more enjoyable for him, because everything was so easy for him. And it always confused me as to why, once he met Ichigo and so forth, he didn't progress. And I guess it was just some subconscious lock that he can't repeal anymore. And so I'm finally glad it's done. It kind of makes sense, as a character. He reminds me, of course, of Vegeta. It's the same thing with Zebra from Toriko in certain ways, but as always, every manga series, probably to avoid copyright infringement, adds their little flair to the character. So again, he definitely reminds me of Vegeta, wherein he doesn't give a crap about anything. He's not really moralistic. He does his own thing, but at the end of the day, he still is a good guy, and for whatever reason, he hangs around the good guys, and he likes the main character, Ichigo, and so forth. Vegeta, he likes Goku, but doesn't really. He hangs around Goku a lot. He pretty much settled down on Earth after a while, trying to defeat Goku. More so than that, though, I mean, this chapter is very simple. There's really not much to say. Regardless, I still like this better than freaking Ichigo. I've said this a million times. I like Kenpachi Zaraki more than Ichigo. I finally want to get to see a good fight. I get to see one of my favorite people. Why? Because I really do think he has the potential to become the strongest person by far. I mean, really, he has unlimited potential in many ways. And more so than that, I guess the only little bad thing, but the fact that Zaraki came about sort of nullifies it. But that whole idea that I kind of wanted to see them duke it out. I wanted to see, like, that girl's Shikai is pretty amazing, so I wanted to see her Bankai if she was able to do it. Maybe she still isn't able to Bankai, but I wanted to see some fighting. But I guess this is better because it was revealed that this guy is the strongest Stern Ritter of them all, V. And when I read that, I was like, this is perfect because Kenpachi deserves a strong opponent. And when he still cut that girl despite her being like stronger than the strongest steel, I was just like, oh yes, yes, that was just awesome. And then that was like perfect. Like those are those moments where I just love Bleach, where it's like, oh, you thought you were strong, psych, I'm much stronger, that sort of thing. And I just loved it. And I love the statement he said afterwards, which was pretty much you can imagine anything you want, but there's nothing you can imagine that I can't cut because I am Kenpachi. I just thought that was ridiculous. I think, I really hope he's stronger than Ichigo. I think Ichigo gets too much hype. I'd rather want Kenpachi to beat everyone, even the Spirit King, if the Spirit King is really that strong, and Aizen. But will we ever get to that level? Probably not, because they made it so that like it's gonna be Ichigo for the win, to be the strongest. Why? Because of his, like, the whole series is pretty much based on the idea of let's make it so that the attainment of all three forms is the ultimate goal. By all three forms, I mean Shinigami, Hollow, and Quincy. Quincy was only added recently, and I mean, that was the whole, like, half the manga was based off the Aizen arc, and then like the Aizen arc was pretty much like who can attain the perfect form of Shinigami versus Shinigami and Hollow. And now they've added Quincy in, but Aizen's fallen behind. Aizen doesn't really have Quincy in it, and Ichigo does. And Ichigo didn't have to do anything really unnatural to attain any of that, whereas Aizen had to do all this like weird stuff and experimentation to attain that. So I just thought that was interesting. Anyhow, that's all I want to say. As always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. I'm really excited for this, and I mean, it's amazing. Like, honestly, if I could, like, literally, that's technically, I'm kind of surprised how that's like the strongest ability. I mean, but it's not like this. I mean, I'm surprised that it's the strongest ability of the Stern Raiders, and yet not the strongest person ever. Like, you get that a lot with a lot of things from Bleach. It's like, this ability seems like so strong, unstoppable, and yet it isn't. And I feel like this one with V, like, literally, like, it doesn't make sense in my opinion. Like, you can imagine anything and it will work. I think technically the ability is based off of your imagination, so it scales with your imagination. So I think that's its weakness, because I would have imagined something like I can just snap my fingers and you die, or I imagine that I am just this new substance that's harder than any substance ever discovered and uncuttable. Rather, this freaking idiot imagines, oh, I'm harder than any form of steel, and then he gets cut, which again, it was very dramatic and awesome. But in my opinion, that may be its weakness. Despite that, I feel like that could technically be like the strongest ability ever, and I'm sure the reason it isn't is because there's limitations to the ability, such as oh, it's not freaking oh, you can't imagine anything, even though he said he could. Like, literally, if you could imagine anything, then imagine them dead, or imagine you snap your fingers and they die. Because if you had that sort of power, you'd be stronger than Yuha Bak. The fact that that wasn't done, I mean, it definitely confuses me. So I think that's one of the small plot holes I do have to mention. Anyways, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you later.